Okay, so here we go. First of all, Pilates core. We're going to start off flat on your back. You're going to lift your head, neck, and shoulders, lowering that rib cage into the floor, and then lower your arms back and then your head. So we're trying to get a crunch, arms back, head back. This will help the shoulder mobility as well as the core strength. Exhale on the way up, drop those arms, drop your head. We've got a couple more of those. And then we're going to move into some knee tucks, also known as our dead bug. We're going to alternate opposite arm, opposite leg. We're trying to keep your spine pressing into that mat, keeping the belly button tucked into your spine, staying in that deep crunch position. Exhale. Now we're switching to same side instead of alternating. Same arm, same leg. This one's a little bit easier to connect your brain with. Same side, and then we're going to do both sides, up and back. And again, really trying to keep that core engaged. I shouldn't be able to pull out a towel from underneath your back. Couple more here. You squeeze those heels together during this one, as well as your hands. And next we're going to move on to a single leg reach. Beautiful. Single leg reaches, one side only to start off. We're going to do about 10 repetitions on each side. So your core should start to be warming up now. And go ahead and switch sides, re-engage that core, keep the toe pointed at the top, arms nice and straight, really get a lot of movement out of the spine, up and down. Exhale on the way up. Looking good. A couple more here. And then we're going to move into some around the world crunches. So we're going to tuck those knees into your chest and really swoop the arms up and around. Knees to chest. They hover over the ground just about 6 inches. If that's really tough, you would bring your legs a little higher. You wouldn't drop them as low. And don't worry about getting them all the way straight. You can keep a slight bend in that knee the whole time. We're worried more about using those abs engaging through the spine. Great job. Next, we're going to give those just a little break and do some bridges. Big squeeze in those glutes. Again, engaging the core. Push your whole foot into that mat as we lift and lower. Trying to get all the way up to the shoulder blades off of that mat. Perfect. Now we're going to come up to our V-sit position. Find that core engagement and a single leg switch. Grab behind the knee, or you can also grab over top the knee, which I'll show you in just a moment. Grab on top of that knee and extend. If this was tough, you would just be setting your feet down instead of letting them hover over the floor. We're getting 10 per side. I'm getting tired. The core should be nice and warm by now. And next, go ahead and give it just a stretch for a moment. We're going to do a roll up here. So bringing the arms overhead, exhaling on the way up. Now this, if this is not challenging enough for you, you'll bring your arms up over the shoulder instead of bringing them up overhead for a little less momentum from the arms. So you'll see that here, less movement from the arms, all using that core to sit up nice and tall, and then kind of control on the way back down, trying to keep that core engaged. You could also use a band for assistance if this one was too tough. Wrap that band around the feet if you have a flat band. Next, we're going to go to the same movement, single leg. So again, if you wanted to use a band, this one's a little tougher than the two leg. You would wrap that band around the side that your foot is pointed up to the ceiling, or your leg that's down on the floor. And go ahead and switch sides. Just 5 per side on these. These look so simple. They are not as easy as they look. If you've done them with me before, you know this. So here we are, last one. Perfect. Now we're just going to go to some toe reaches, small crunches through the top. Again, lift the head, neck, and shoulders, reach for those toes, and really keep the core engaged, pressing into the floor each time as you lift that head, neck, and shoulders. These should start to burn a little bit. Then we're going to go to the real burner, side to side, heel taps, tap, ankle, heel on each side, trying to stay as lifted as you can from those shoulder blades. So notice I'm trying to keep the shoulders off the floor. So you're in a full crunch position the whole time. About 10 of those. Then we're going to come up and flip over into a plank position next. So forearms are going to be right underneath you. Shoulder over the elbow. We're going to tip that pelvis. So notice that little tilt, no arch in the back, squeezing the glutes in, and hold here. If that's really simple for you, you can lift one leg off to do a single leg plank. You would hold for about 10 seconds per leg, or you can hold a total of 30 seconds in either plank. Give it a quick stretch. And then we're going to move on to your side next. So go on to one side. And we're going to start with just a leg lift. Nice and controlled, especially on the way down. Don't quite let your feet touch. Come very close, but not quite. We're going to get 10 on this side. And then we're going to go to circles at the top of this movement. Really try not to get much movement out of the upper body. It's all from that hip. We're trying to stay as still as possible by keeping your core engaged, belly button tucked into the spine. 5 each direction on the circles. Once you get 5 per direction, you're going to bend those knees in towards your chest, and we're going to open. This is a side-lying fire hydrant movement. So really opening those legs and closing. Think about a door hinging open and closed. If this was too much for you, you could keep the heels touching. But this is a great movement to get that medial glute involved. So we have 10 here. And then at the very last one, we're going to lift that leg straight up in the air. And we're going to do 5 direction circles, one direction, and then 5 circles in the other direction. Straight leg up. Again, try to control the rest of that body movement. This is another one harder than it looks, especially if you get that leg way up there. Go ahead and lower that one down. We're going to straighten out both legs, tuck the top one in front, and we're going to engage that lower inner thigh for 10 reps on a leg lift from the bottom leg. 10 reps on that one. And then we're going to flip to the other side and do the same thing on the other side. So whenever you set this up, you want to get on your arm as comfortable as you can, where you can still really kind of push into that front hand just a little bit. Keep your core engaged and kick that leg slightly back at an angle. You should feel it right in the crease of the glute. Again, 10 repetitions, full range of motion on these, all the way up, all the way down, almost touching that bottom foot. And then hold at the top. We've got 5 circles at about a 45-degree angle, and then 5 circles backwards in that same spot. Go ahead and lower that down. Bend the knees in, and the fire hydrants here, opening and closing. Really get all that movement from the hip. Try not to wobble or use your obliques in the sides. All right, last one here, and you'll kick that leg straight up, 5 circles in one direction, and 5 circles in the other direction, trying to keep that leg as high as you can. Go ahead and lower down, pull that top leg on top, over, flat foot, and lift and lower from that bottom leg, inner thigh, for 10 repetitions. Once we're done here, we're going to flip back onto your back. Your core's had a little bit of a break, so we're going back to it. We're going to start in a V-sit here. And scissor kicks in that V-sit position. Now, if this was too tough, you could always hold your hands back behind you. And then we're going to open and close for horizontal kicks here. In and out. Working those abductors. Wonderful. Go ahead and find that V-sit position again for hundreds. We have 20 repetitions. Flaps the arms. Really try to get it to move just from the shoulder. You're making a disruption and trying to keep the core in the same position. Good. Once you get 20 hundreds, you can go ahead and flatten out. Take a moment. Flip back to the other side onto your back, and we're going to start it over. Here we go. Same deal. Starting with those leg lifts. 10 per side on these. Keep it up. If you guys have the will to do this at home, it's going to be amazing. You're going to really feel that core burn. So I want to hear all about it in the comments later. You got one more here. And then we're going to go to those knee tucks next. Or those around the world. Big swoop. Curl up and reach. What a super crunch. It's super because you're using both upper and lower abs on these. Again, we're getting 10 repetitions. Everything here is about 10 to 20 repetitions. So if you forget, when in doubt, do a couple extra. It's not going to hurt. You can always pause this and go back. All right, last one there. Now we're going to go into these bridges again. Give your core just a slight break. Big squeeze in those glutes. Think about rolling up one vertebra at a time and then back down from the top. 10 repetitions there. And then we're going to sit on up and find your V-sit position. So kind of find the sits bones. Curl up. This is one time it's okay to have a rounded spine and single leg extensions one at a time. Hopefully you have some peaceful music on in the background or just something that gets you pumped up. Whatever works for you. Last one or two here. And go ahead and go back onto the back. Give it a stretch for just a moment. Let those abs rest. And we're going straight into a roll up. Again, less momentum is better. I start off showing you the full range of motion ones. Exhale on the way up. Really use those breaths. So we're practicing deep belly breathing. So your belly should get nice and big right before you exhale on the way up. If you can keep it at that shorter range of motion, do so. Got a couple more, and then we're going to go into the single leg ones. So again, we want at least 10 total reps here. Use the band if needed. Go ahead and bring that one foot back. And this one we're getting 5 per side. Last one on this side, and then we will switch. Foot goes nice and flat. Really try to plant those feet into the floor. You'll notice mine come up a tiny bit. That's because I'm getting tired. But the more we can keep those feet planted, the better. I'm really working the spine. All right, so next we've got those toe touches. Reach, reach, reach. Don't give up now. You've only got about 3 to 5 minutes left. Big exhales on the way up. We've got 20 of these. And then we're going 10 per side on the heel touches next. So flat feet, lift, keep that core engaged, tap side to side. 10 per side. You're going to have a rock solid core if you do this a few times a week. If you can do it daily, even better. So great for your spine and low back health. All right, so now we're flipping into that plank. Hands about shoulder distance apart. Find that nice straight line. Tuck the pelvis forward. We don't want your hips to drop, and we don't want them too high up in the air either. We want a straight line, but what we're looking at are the joints of your shoulder, hip, and ankle. If that's easy, go ahead and go to a one-legged plank. If not, just keep holding that two-legged and try to hold those for 5 to 10 seconds on either side, or 5 to 10 count. Go ahead and give it a quick stretch in our child's pose before we move on to our sides. And these last ones on the hips, again, give that core a break. Kind of do it in 3 different spurts for the abs to make sure they get a little rest between. So 10 repetitions on this single leg side kicks. I got to remember to smile because I am happy, believe it or not. 5 circles back, 5 circles forward. I love working out, but I get my focus face on. I gotta learn to smile. So now we'll go ahead and pull those knees into the chest and then fire hydrant open and close. But trust me, I am feeling the burn right along with you guys. 10 reps on those hydrants. Before we go ahead and pull those legs back out straight. One leg up and 5 circles. One direction and 5 circles in the other direction. Again, try to keep it as high as you can, depending on your flexibility. Go ahead and lower that one down. We're going to bring that leg in front and flat foot on the floor so that the bottom leg can lift and lower for 10 repetitions. Little squeezes on those inner thighs. And let's go ahead and flip over to the other side and start that sequence again. This is your last time. Stay with me here. So, 10 big kicks up, full range of motion, almost letting it come to the other foot, but not quite. Big lift. I'll be really interested to see how you guys feel about these little mini workouts. 5 circles forward at that 45-degree angle and 5 circles backwards at that same angle. And these are great because 90% of you should be able to do all of the movements on these. Go ahead and bend those knees. Hydrants, open and close. Still lean forward so we get a big range of motion in those hips. These are good alternative to that adductor machine we have in the gym. Get the same benefit, even a little bit more of those stabilizer muscles. Once you get your 10 there, we're going to kick that leg straight up, 5 circles up high, and 5 circles the opposite direction. Go ahead and lower that. We're going to bring that leg to the front, flatten it out, and inner thigh squeezes for 10 reps. Beautiful. So now go ahead and flip onto your back, and we're going to find that V-sit position for our last little burst of core. It's only about a minute here. First, starting with those flutter kicks up and down. These are vertical movements, and then we're going to switch to the horizontal in and out. Again, about 10 each way. Go ahead and tuck the knees in. Our hundreds are next. So refine that core position. Again, if you need the hands behind you, you would just hold during this instead of using the arms. Or you could set your heels down on the floor as well, but still try to maintain that tucked core position. Great job. That is it, you guys. Give it a quick stretch out and come back and see me tomorrow for another kind of workout. Have a great